Guarantee that I'll be fine. No more pain, no more pain, no more pain. I'm just waiting for Miss Rochelle. How y'all doing today? I do want to go ahead and say thank you for streaming last week. My interview with Dr. Brittany Green. We definitely want to get, content out there and let people know, you know, there's Rochelle. So thank you for streaming. Thank you for supporting. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Portia Sherelle. I'm sorry, I was jamming. Can you hear me? No, I cannot hear you. I turned it up. Can you hear me? Do you have it muted? Do you have it muted down there? Okay, we're gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together. Let's see. Let's see. Pause real quick. Start back. Okay. Thank you. What do you want me to call you? Mia, Rochelle?
Mia.
Mia, okay. I go by, my family and friends call me by my middle name, Sherelle, and then my first name is Portia. So it just depends on, where I'm at and who gonna call me what. So I'm like,
that's true.
But
because I got so many nicknames.
Yeah, and my uncles, they still call me like really cool. I'm like, oh my God, please, I'm big and grown. Please don't call me that. But thank you, Mia, for joining me. And so I'll let everybody know how I was introduced to you. We have a mutual friend, Jerryonda. She did a Gold Sisters brunch, and in that brunch, you spoke. And when you spoke, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I don't know. I just love transparency in women because I feel like that's how we can kind of start healing each other. We were kind of raised and taught to keep so much stuff secret, and then we're growing up into these adults, and it's like you start almost going crazy because you really do need to talk to people and know how to talk and communicate to each other. So I love your story. However much you feel like you want to share or don't, that's completely up to you. I did send you some questions. So if you want to do like a little introduction, if you want to share your tags, if you would like or whatever, if you don't, feel free. But if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit. And you look so beautiful.
Thank you. So do you. I just left the gym, so I'm feeling vibrant over here. Thank you. Okay, so my name is Mia. My business is Beautiful Thirst, and it's a health and wellness business. And I also have a nonprofit. It's Beautifully Flawed. I started helping mentoring teenage children. So I try to go from one thing to the other. And it actually combines together because eating health and wellness affects your mental state. And so I think if we start learning that eating processed foods and things that are not healthy for us, it affects our gut and it affects our thinking. And so when you think about the children and their behavior, it has a lot to do with what they're eating, what they're watching, what they're surrounded, around. And so Beautiful Thirst, like I said, it started with me wanting to help women that suffer with fibroids and endometriosis and just different things with our body, our pH balances and all those things like that. And so my mom had fibroids and she had to have surgery and they did a partial hysterectomy and they messed her intestines. They cut part of her intestines and she had to wear what do you call it, colostomy bag or if I'm pronouncing it right. And she had to wear that for like 4 to 6 months, and it was reversible. They could, but that scared me. And so most of the women in my family have had those issues with fibroids. And then one time I went to the doctor and they thought they saw fibroids and yada yada whatever. And then I was like, I'm scared of surgery. I'm scared of the doctor. I go, if of course, by you have to get your annual checkup and your pap smears and all those things. But I'm scared to have surgery. And then I'm like, I'm 43 years old, so I do want to have a child. I have bonus children, but I want to have my own child. So that's one of the first things that I think when you go to the doctor for any kind of female issues, the first thing the doctor wants to do is take all your reproductive, your
Yeah,
your female out. And me personally, I think it just has a lot to do with so we won't produce any more, black children.
I read, I mean, they unfortunately they did do that at one point. It was intentional. So I would hope we move forward a little bit, but at one point they did do that, and they did not want us to procreate and reproduce, and they would, oh, you got a hysterectomy. Like, wait a minute, can we do something else, please?
They don't give you other options. They just immediately want to tell you, oh, well, we just got to do a hysterectomy. And then a lot of women are not educated about their bodies, so they just go for that because they're scared.
Yeah,
And so I'm not, anytime I go to the doctor, my doctor always say, Miss Holmes, you something else, because I go in there, I Google stuff, I research stuff. You can't just tell me no anything, and you can't just prescribe me no any kind of medication and think that I'm just gonna go for it. And so what I learned about antibiotics, like when you suffer with different issues, like I kept having reoccurring bacteria vaginosis, and I never knew what was causing it. And so it come to find out it was things that I was using, things that I was eating. Everybody's body is different. And so that was one of the things that like I said, inspired me to start eating better and just educating women. But antibiotics is not good because it takes away. You think about, you take antibiotics, and every time you go, after I take antibiotics, I end up getting a yeast infection. So then they have to give you
everything.
diaper.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, but it's actually taking away, it's taking away your good bacteria when you taking those antibiotics. And so I was getting frustrated and it was depressing because I'm like, Lord, what is wrong with my body? Like, why I got to go through this?
yeah.
And so I just decided that God bless you, that I would practice eating healthier and start researching things, natural antibiotics that you can take to heal your gut.
Oh wow.
And so I'm actually working on those things now. Like I follow a lot of health coaches, a lot of people, alkaline diets, all those things play a part in your gut. And so, like you
Like
said,
herbs and stuff like that too. Like using
yeah. And so,
herbs and
right. And so when you think about how we were raised, like you said, um, I agree with a lot of, the morals and things and the teachings, but a lot of how they were raised, they was taught and they taught us and it wasn't right. Because like milk, you when you was growing up, milk does your body good, make your bones strong and this and that. But you think about why when you drink milk, why people are lactose intolerant and people have so much their stomach is upset because you're not supposed to be drinking cow milk.
right. We don't drink
Cow milk.
um my youngest, I have a 1 year old. She has, well, she does the almond milk, but even from since she was little, she just could not take. I mean, I did breastfeed for a little bit. I wish I did it longer, but I didn't. And she had to go to this real expensive milk. It was called Nutrimite. It was like $35 a can, but her body, she just couldn't process like regular formula. And now she can't do milk. So she's on almond milk, and it does good for her.
Yeah. And so almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk, and then you can make your own milk because if you think about when you go to the store and you buy was supposed to be vegan or supposed to be natural, and then you read the back of the what's on the back of the label, what's inside, it's not actually vegan or it's not natural. And so just because it says natural and just because it says organic doesn't mean that it is. So you do have to pay attention to still what's inside. And so, you know, like I said again, long story short, I started the health and wellness to help women, to educate not just women but men too. And so I found, because I suffer with a mental illness. I was diagnosed with PTSD and diagnosed with bipolar 2. And so a lot of that stems from my childhood issues that I never healed from. And so when you don't heal the child, you become a broken adult.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that had a big effect on me. And I would be eating like McDonald's and always buying frozen stuff, just eating stuff recklessly, not paying attention to why I'm always sad, I'm angry, I'm not thinking properly, you know, I'm all over the place. And so once I start growing into myself and loving me, I'm like, I'm 43 years old. I got to do better. I don't want to. I want to eat to live. I don't want to just be rocking around here like some people say. Oh, y'all always talking about this healthy eating. And you got to die from something. So I'm gonna go eat this pork, or I'm gonna go eat this greasy food.
No.
Not me. Not me,
Because you can
because
die a peaceful sleep in your death. You ain't got to just die from a heart attack or, you know.
I ain't trying to rush my death. And people always want to bring up the Bible, but guess what the Bible says? Faith without works is dead. And people take the Bible and they just,
They manipulate it basically. They use they can use it against you, but they can't apply it to themselves. Like, oh Lord.
and use it to their own advantage. It says faith without works is dead. If you're gonna say I got faith and I'm gonna live, but God still wants you to not be living reckless either. Your body is a temple.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's what anything. And so, like I said, and also with me, when I started the mentoring program, I started helping young teenagers because I was a troubled teen. And so which led me to prison. And I ended up doing 7 years in prison for aggravated assault. But I had so many anger issues that I didn't realize was hurting me. And so I come from a really good family, but it's always dysfunction in the family.
Yes.
You know, and so when you try to get down to the root of things, you understand why you went through the things that you went through. And so I have a more understanding of children. And when I start mentoring, the teacher's like, well, how you, Miss Holmes, how you get them to sit down and listen to you? They won't even listen to you. I said, first of all, they don't want to hear Alice in Wonderland story. They want to hear truth. They want to know how you survive, how
Yes.
you overcome. And
Yes.
also, children are not going to respect you if they instill fear in you. If they know you're scared of them, they're not going to respect you.
Nope. They're gonna run over you every
And
time.
and so that brings joy to my heart that when I go and mentor children, I get a positive feedback. And if only I can help one, that's fine. But I always get the love that children need. And I wish that I could help them all, but there's no way possible, because when you try to help children and you talk to them and you mentor them, they still got to go back home. And if they're not teaching them at home, it's confusing them.
Do you feel like
So
your purpose started with you first getting healthy, facing yourself, getting to the root of your problems and some of your issues? Once you did that, you were able to go out and, like with you, you choose to start with children and mentoring them. I prefer to work with maybe like young adults, kind of. I mean, I love kids too, but I think me trying to, I'm healing my inner child. So with me having two daughters, that's just kind of enough for me. But I do want all kids to be happy and whole and supported, and loved how they need to be. But do you feel like your journey and your purpose started with you working on yourself, doing the work, and then you saw the need for it in others, and you were able to like fulfill that need?
well, yes, I actually have always it's something about me and children that God has this light on me that children gravitate towards me. And I think, and before I even started eating healthy, I was helping. I've always helped people, but it was getting to the point where it was draining because I wasn't working on my inner self. I was trying to run around and help everybody else, but I was pouring from an empty cup. And so and I think because of all the hurt and pain that I've gone through as a child, I can identify with the other child.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yep.
Because we get so much. So do you feel like, because you're saying a lot, and so I do want to unpack it because it's good information. When you said you were diagnosed with PTSD, I just told my sister, I was like, right now, the only family member I'm talking to, unfortunately, is my baby sister. Because when you start to not function in dysfunction, it kind of sends everybody else to like a haywire. Like, I guess who does she think she is? And it's like, I just want to be happy. And I love y'all. And like you said, the morals and stuff, and I value that. It's not like you just taught me to be a bad person, but it's a lot of dysfunction. And it was wearing me out trying to function in the dysfunction. So I just had to break that cycle. Even with communicating, I communicate with my children a lot. We didn't even have like that option growing up. So I told my sister, I think I have PTSD, and it's happening because I'm trying to balance my life out, but the negative trauma is still affecting me so much. So I started I went to therapy, but I'm back in it now. I have my first session tomorrow because I don't want to elevate, and then I'm still holding on to like all this baggage and stuff. So do you feel like everyone should like go to therapy, or at least us, coming from where we're coming from?
Absolutely. And I commend you. First of all, I want to say I commend you for allowing your children to be comfortable with talking to you, because that's very important. It's very important that you allow your children to be able to voice their opinion respectfully. But because if they can't talk to you, then they're gonna go talk to somebody else, and then they're gonna get all this worldly stuff. But when you talk to your children and just let them know that I'm here for you and we can talk about anything. Don't feel embarrassed about it, or just, you got to let me know because I'm here. I'm here for you. So when you give your children that door, they're going to always feel comfortable enough to talk to you. And like I said, I think that's very important because I didn't have that with my mother. And not taken away from her being a good parent, but she wasn't taught.
Right.
And so now I'm able to talk to my mom and I'm able to just say anything, and she laughed like, you real comfortable with me, but I am. So, but I do think that, back to what you asked, I think everybody needs counseling, because if you ever been through anything traumatic that will cause PTSD, it will cause and I think all Black people got PTSD. If you've been through, especially, and again, if it's not it stems from racism, it stems from how they were treated from early on, and then again it carries on from this person to this child to this family member, and again the cycle is not broken. So I think that we all have PTSD, and if you've been through anything traumatic, especially any kind of abuse, physical abuse, um verbal abuse, sexual abuse, if you've witnessed any kind of murder or anything, it causes traumatic. And so I always tell people, my friends or whoever, I try to encourage them and enlighten them, because when you're dealing with people, it's the same way with a child that has ADHD or any kind of illness. You got to start educating yourself so you'll know how to deal with the person, because a lot of people didn't know how to deal with me. Or they'll think, oh, you mean, yeah, or you mean, dog, you come off so, so, because I'm the type of person, I'm gonna say whatever.
I hope people can see my little sign here, because I don't know, but it says
I am too much.
you know what? Okay, if I'm too much, you're gonna have to find somebody else to be around because I've been through a lot and I'm not going to not be too much because I was taught to just be quiet and to just not I had to figure out who I was. So if this is me as a person, as a woman, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, and it's just too much for you, you just gonna have to move around like until you can heal
Yeah,
maybe and be around me because you aren't healed. So me being my true self is like bothering you. And that's just
yeah,
not my problem.
yeah. And I'm not gonna dumb myself down to
Oh,
accommodate you.
right.
I do know how to act accordingly, but I'm learning, like you said, I have a voice now because when I was little, I didn't talk.
Yep.
And people thought something was wrong with me. The teacher actually called my mom and said that I was slow. And
Oh,
my mama went up there and lit in on that teacher because ain't nothing slow
right,
about me. Don't be fooled. And
right.
so once I read, my mom got me to stand up and read. The teacher was shocked, like, well, why she don't talk to school? Because she read. Because for one, I was shy and I went through a lot as a child. So teachers, you got to understand that just because I'm not talking don't mean I'm slow or I'm dumb. And so you can't automatically, and again, that's what we want to get our black kids back to, put them in slow classes
Yeah.
or give them
Come on, baby.
medication, dumb them down. Mm-mm,
So,
mm-mm.
talk to him.
And so, yes, I do think, yeah, right. I do think that we all need counseling, and I encourage it. And a lot of people they don't want to face it because they don't want to face the man in the mirror. But I had to. I had to
Hard.
because it was dragging me down, and I didn't understand why I couldn't be in a productive job. I couldn't hold a job. I couldn't be in a relationship, or when somebody was treating me right, I sabotaged it. I always ran from it. And any little thing that I saw wrong, I don't want to talk to him no more. I'm changing my number. And so and and so it wasn't healthy for me because I've come across some really good guys. I've come across some really good people, but because of me being hurt, I'm always thinking somebody's trying to attack me or, trying to hurt me. So I start meditating, changing the people that I surround myself with because that's also important. Low vibrational people and energy, it will drag you down. And
Oh,
so when people don't understand, when see, you can't remove people, but you can remove yourself.
yes.
So
Yeah.
that's why I don't really like to ride with people. If we're going somewhere and somebody say, well, I'll come pick you up. No, I'll drive my own car because when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. When you feel it,
And if I,
coming up.
yeah, and if
So
I feel the
what
energy is not right, I'm gonna move.
that's what I'm getting to though. I mean, I'm learning a lot about myself, like you said, and it takes a lot to look in the mirror and you like, man, I messed up. But it's like you don't have to stay messed up. And it might not even be your fault that you messed up, but you still can't blame everybody. You just have to still do the work. So that's what I always tell people. Just make sure you do the work. Because if not, you'll go around blaming everybody. And by the time we 30, 35, 40, like you just gonna keep blaming everybody. So because it's only 30 minutes, we're gonna have to talk again. Because I didn't get to hit everything, but if you can tell me what motivates you to keep going, like you said, just you start losing friends, family, I mean good friends, your best family, you know what I mean? So what motivates you to keep going and keep healing? And then what advice can you give to men and women to boss up, level up, no matter their circumstances?
Well, again, what motivates me is just being able to wake up with a free spirit. God, that's what motivates me. And I can't stress this enough. I'm not religious because religion puts you in a box. I'm spiritual. I'm very connected to God. I'm very connected to Him. And I always tell people I need Him. I don't care where I go. I'm always talking to Him. I'm always praying. I'm always saying thank you. I'm just saying thank you for toothpaste. I'm saying thank you for a toothbrush because I'm just that grateful. So that's what makes me happy is God being able to wake up and being able to be free and not just mentally, but I mean not just physically, but mentally. I still got a lot of work to do, but I'm just thankful for where He has brought me because I'm nothing like I used to be. And I'm proud of where I'm going. I'm so proud. And so, and then the advice that I have for people is just to look deep into yourself. That's the only way. We try so hard to fix everybody else, but we're not fixing ourselves. That's the real work, and it's not easy. But work on yourself. Work on yourself. Self and take care of yourself. Date yourself. Stop looking for validation or looking for people to do stuff with you. Buy yourself flowers. Take yourself on dates. Take yourself on trips. One thing about me, when I have extra money, I will book a flight to fly somewhere. I don't care where it is. You understand me?
I go. I've been to
And
Texas.
and I have the best.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I don't care. I go. Yeah.
And I had the best time of my life because when you truly enjoy who you are, you don't have to worry about taking somebody and they complain, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. You can do and move how you want to move. You gotta thoroughly enjoy yourself. And I do, I make myself laugh, I tell jokes, and people probably say she crazy. No, I enjoy me. When I get in the car and ride, I listen to some good music and I'm just like thankful. Or sometimes I just get quiet and don't have nothing, no music or nothing. And I'm just sitting enjoying the birds and the bees and just nature. And so that's what I encourage people to do. Take care of yourself, go on long walks, sit at the park. Like I take a blanket and a book and a sandwich or something and sit at the park and just enjoy nature. You gotta enjoy peace and
Yes.
you gotta be around quietness, a place of peace where nobody, and just don't talk. If you don't feel like answering your phone, don't answer your phone. If you don't want to go nowhere, don't go nowhere. And that's just where I'm at.
Gratitude. Yeah. Operating from gratitude and love
Yeah.
for yourself. So I'm so proud of you, and I'm glad you kept fighting, and I'm glad you figured out, that you can work from the inside out, so that way you can help and touch other people. Because I mean, you inspired me just from the moment when you got up there. Because I know it's not easy to get up and talk. I was really shy as a child. My voice was taken from me, and that's why I make sure my daughters they do have their voice. Well, my 1-year old, she will, but my 5-year old, if you know her, she has her voice, and I never want anything to happen to take it from her. So I mean, thank you for speaking with me. We're gonna have to do another one because this was only 30 minutes, but and I gotta get with you so I can order my salad for this week.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm always available for it to do, if you want to do another one, just let me
Thank
know.
you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
thankful. Thank you so much. And I'm proud of you and just keep pushing
Thank
and
you so
enjoy your
much.
day.
You too. You too. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later, Mia.
Okay. Okay. Bye
Have a
bye.
good one.
You too. Thanks.